We are here with Kenny Leon of True Colors Theater Company. Appreciate your opportunity to meet with you. I'd like to just ask a few questions because I know you're about to do your rehearsals.
Right.
So I'll get right into it. First, let's go with what inspires your works. I mean, you've done a lot of work across different genres. What inspires you?
Well, the need to really tell stories. And I think that's what life is about. Passing stories down from one generation to another. And I just happen to be blessed with the gift of storytelling. I'm a storyteller. I think stories feed our community. We learn from our stories. We grow from our stories. I think society needs our stories. When a baby is born, the first thing that you do with a baby is telling the story.
Right.
And so I'm inspired by the need to tell stories. I must tell them.
Who would you say has influenced you, or what? Who and what have influenced your work?
My grandmother is a great inspiration in my work, just because, in my grandmother's generation, she really didn't see careers for folks as directors or actors, or all the things that we do now
Right.
we take for granted. So I'm inspired by them because they went out and they worked the fields, they did what was necessary, they fought for us to all have the right to vote, and just so many things that generation did for us, and we reap those rewards. So I'm inspired by those that have gone before.
Do you have like any authors or any playwrights or any filmmakers that you have followed, or that you sort of,
There are no artists that I've really followed, but there are certainly artists that have had a great impact on my life. To have had the pleasure of working with August Wilson.
Right.
On his last 2 Broadway plays when he was alive. When he died at 60 years, too young. And then to direct his production of Fences on Broadway last
Right.
year with Denzel Washington, and I'm inspired by Denzel and all the work that he's done. I look up to folks like Samuel L. Jackson, who used to do 12, 13 plays a year before
Right.
he ever made his first film. I'm inspired by folks like Spike Lee, who had a vision and courage to really knock down a lot of walls and make some great films early in his career. So people like Ossie and Ruby Davis,
Right.
Sidney Poitier, all the work he's done. So there are many, many people, Lena Horne, many people. But I'm also inspired by everyday folks who teach theater and music in grammar school, in junior high school, and high school. All of us had some teacher that really touched us. So I'm a great proponent of teachers.
On that note, you speak of these folks and their careers and their longevity. You've had, a very long career yourself, and congratulations on that.
Thanks.
How have you been able to sustain a career in the arts when so many people struggle at it?
I can't explain that. It's like I think that I always encourage young people to follow your passion and find your passion. I was a political science major just because
Wow.
it didn't have any math in it.
Okay.
And along the way, I met great people like Spike and Samuel L. Jackson, and Michael Eisner. I met people and sort of started building a life and building a career. But I always followed my heart. Whatever that meant, I followed my heart. And I think if you follow your heart, 9 times out of 10, it's going to work out right, because you're going to work harder to make things work. So I never was one to chase the dollar. I was always chasing the passion, and I always felt that if you chase the passion, the dollar will follow.
Just 2 more quick questions for you. The state of black theater today versus when you started, what would be your thought on that?
Wow. The state of black theater today is, some improvement, but not enough. We have some opportunity, but not enough opportunity. I think that there's much that we can do in our own communities. African Americans are making more dollars, but we're not using our dollars smartly, I don't think, to really put behind telling our own rich stories. So many times it turns into, just about getting paid. And sometimes when it's just about getting paid, then you make things that are it may be funny, but it may not be rich in culture and passing the culture down. So I think that there's certainly lots more we can do as artists, as entrepreneurs, to get our stories out there. But I think we definitely have had many more opportunities for actors. You know, when I first started, there was, you know, you didn't have, you know, Samuel L. Jackson and Denzel Washington. You didn't have like Forrest Whitaker. You didn't have a, you know, let's say you got 20 male actors now who are getting plenty of work in Hollywood. You didn't have that, you know.
Right.
So I think in the last 15 or 20 years, that's certainly the increase of actors working decent jobs is definitely increased. But comparatively, you know, we still have a long way to go.
Last question for you. In respect to the genres that you have worked across, meaning film, television, theater, obviously, I even read that you have done stage direction for Alicia Keys and stuff like that. What has been your greatest challenge or your greatest obstacle that you've had to overcome throughout any of that?
I think my challenge is no greater than every other African American's challenge on the planet, you know, and that is we always have to be bicultural. You know, we always have to, you know, there are rules, and then there's another set of rules. So you always have to understand that not everyone is intentionally trying to be racist and hold you down, but there are inherent things that are built into systems and ways of working that, you know, racism is implicit. So it's always going to be a challenge in this country until we get a handle on race relations. It's always going to be that challenge that's going to affect our pockets and our way of life as well.
Terrific. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you so
you,
much. It's been a pleasure.
Continued success to you.
Thanks so much. God bless you.
Hey, baby doll.
Don't look.
What?
Don't look. Don't look.
What?
Turn around.
All right, I'm turning.
William, turn your behind
I
around.
just turned around.
Where are you home for?
Same old thing. Masters didn't want to give me any overtime, so I'm home.
That's not good.
Oh, it's fine, baby. You fine? You were trying to spell our last name. There's a letter missing.
I know. Wishful thinking.
Oh. Let's get little Ennis out first. Then we'll think about another.
I know this onesie is a little big for a newborn, but it'll be perfect by Christmas. Santa's first gift to the baby.
Santa? I don't know about that.
William, let's not get this started.
Baby, it ain't right. My brothers, sisters, and I will always believe that Mama and Daddy worked hard to get us gifts, not some fat white man.
It's just for fun.
Come to think of it, unless we have dumb kids, I don't think they'll go for it either. Why? Because I came up with it?
No, because it's ridiculous.
So maybe because I came up with my own science?
It's not a science in it.
I think it is.
I know that it's not. That's what I studied. Yo, Pops, we're back. Just because you want something to be a science doesn't make it a science. It has to hold certain characteristics. And a better name wouldn't hurt it either.
What's wrong with the name?
Brokeology?
Yes, brokeology, the study of being broke.
You can't just throw ology at the end of something and it instantly becomes a science. What's next? Coffeeology, the study of coffee. Nikeology, the study of Nikes.
Pimpology, the study of pimping.
I'm gonna be home for a day and you're already making my brain hurt.
Your mama was alive and there. She was wearing that green dress that she bought before we got married. I swear, if you saw that dress hanging in a store or on a hanger somewhere, it was the ugliest thing ever. But on her, it was breathtaking. Anyway, she was wearing that dress and it was windy, so her hair was blowing all over the place. She was holding you in it. We were no more than 2 years old, maybe. We were having a great time. We were laughing, sailing. It was perfect.